Hello, lovelies. This is Lazy Fox Creates, a podcast about the crafting experience. I am the Lazy Fox, otherwise known as Laura or Glomdy. We are going to be talking about personal growth through crafting. This is a thing that I have noticed a lot in myself and the way that I approach things. And I think it's a good thing to think about for anyone who does any kind of creative thing, which is a lot more people than you would think about because a lot of people do creative things but don't think they do. So sit and ponder that if you think it doesn't apply to you. I'm going to be bringing up examples of things that I've done, and what I would love is if you thought about things you have made. What was your gateway craft? Did you get into it as an adult? Were you doing it forever? Did you have like a parent or a friend who you just grew up with it? I just in the last few years started getting serious about it. I think that I always wanted to do it, but I never thought that I could, and it seemed like a really intimidating thing to get into, and I didn't want to fail. For example, every year for Halloween, my friends would get these fun costumes, and I was so jealous because I wasn't allowed to do Halloween, so I never got to do a costume. And then when I discovered cosplay, I desperately wanted that, but I didn't have anywhere to wear it, and I didn't think that I could do it. I didn't think I would be good at it. And then one of my friends, Jess, if you're listening, hi, I love you, suggested doing it at a con we were going to, and it was so much fun. And it was not a good cosplay. I'm gonna be so honest. It wasn't good, but it was my first one, so I was really happy about it, and I'm still happy about it. I don't feel embarrassed for not having a good cosplay for my first one. I'll I'll post a picture of it if you're on YouTube. I'll put a picture for my cosplay, which my makeup was wonderful because my friend just did my makeup. But so I've always been like a wannabe crafty person. Like when I went to camp, you could sign up for, I think they called them just classes, but really it was just like events you did for a few hours. You could go swimming, you could do archery, whatever. And I would always sign up for crafting because I was so obsessed with it. Oh my god, I'm thinking of all the like shrinky dinks that I've made. I should make shrinky dinks again. Oh my god, can I make a whole episode about a shrinky dink? I don't know, we'll see. Oh, I should make a whole episode about camp crafting. Okay, you heard it here, folks. Camp crafting. That's gonna be fun. But anyway, the first time that I like really truly tried to make something good and not just like a fun thing for me to make was technically my first cosplay, but I know that I spent like a long time on it, but I honestly cannot think of what I spent a long time on. Like when I think about it now, because I bought a belt, I bought the clothes, I bought the wig, and I didn't really have any props. I know I spent a long time on it though. So while that was the first thing that I got serious about, it's not a very good example. So instead, I'm gonna get into my next cosplay. I really wanted this specific size and style of journal for one of the props, and I could not find it anywhere. And at that point, the thought of just making something was so foreign to me. And I don't even remember how I came up with that idea, but all of a sudden I was just like, I'm gonna make a journal. And I don't know, I just did it and it was wild. I bought like this, I don't know, like 2 by 3 foot of leather, and I looked up a bunch of videos on how to do it. I'll link some of those below just in case you're curious about bookbinding at all. Off the top of my head, I know I looked at Nerdforge, but the other ones, I should know the name of it, but yeah. One of my friends does bookbinding. I think mostly as like a hobby, but she makes like these really nice books. So I consulted her and I did it totally wrong. Um, it turned out I was satisfied with it and I still have it and it's still like a beloved object to me, but I did it just so wrong. I I glued it to the leather, but I glued it in such a way that like if I were to use it, it's gonna come undone. This is definitely not an this is a prop. This is not an everyday use item. And now I know how to do it in a way that I could actually like use it, but it was so much fun and like when I finish and I have this thing in my hands that I made and it's exactly what I wanted. It was such a rewarding experience and I needed more of it. So that's what I did. And this time, instead of buying my little 2x3 piece of leather, I bought a whole hide. And I think right then I kind of learned a skill that I hadn't realized I learned, in that I stopped asking if I could do a thing and just started asking, how can I do the thing? I became very determined. It stopped occurring to me that I wouldn't be able to do things unless I don't have like the equipment for it or it's an extremely advanced thing, obviously, but that's a huge skill right there. Like, if that was the only thing that I got from it, that would be good enough. It changed my whole approach to anything I do. It's definitely the reason that I'm even making this podcast right now because I don't know if anyone will listen to this. Maybe I won't get a lot of listeners and maybe I'll just have fun making a podcast. But it doesn't matter. I want to do the thing, so I'm gonna do it. There was one day that I was having lunch at work and I just randomly said, I'm gonna make a Funko Pop of my favorite character. And my brother was like, what are you talking about? Ha 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 ha. And I was like, you don't understand. I'm going to. And then I did. And it was amazing. And I was so happy about it. And making Funko Pops, making custom Funko Pops, like with air dry clay, not my favorite thing to do, but every once in a while, I love it. And it's amazing looking at and being like, oh my god, I made that. A very valuable thing that crafting in general, but leatherworking especially, has taught me how to do is fail. That sounds so silly, but failing is such a skill. There have been so many times that I tried to make something and it's either horrible or completely different than what I wanted, and even if it's still okay, sometimes that can be disappointing, sometimes it can be fantastic. It's like a lesson in patience when something fails and you have to not, if you just get angry about it, that's not useful, right? And I realize that's also not useful to just say because it's something you have to practice, but it's something that I learned that just got if I just start despairing over this thing, like then I'm just not gonna have it and I'm gonna be sad. It still gets me every once in a while, to be honest. I do struggle a lot with feeling like I'm a failure, but in crafting specifically, usually when things don't go as planned, I can look at it from a very analytical standpoint and see what I did wrong, what needs to be improved for next time. Can I fix this one or do I have to restart? If I have to restart, I probably will give myself a little bit of a break between restarting it because it is annoying having to restart. But I have a whole episode about mistakes. I haven't actually decided the order that I'm going to put it out, so it's either the episode before this or it's going to be next week's episode. So we'll either look forward to it or go look in the episode history and you can find it. There have been times in my life outside of crafting that I'm usually really hard on myself. And so there have been times outside of crafting that I start getting into this spiral of like punishing myself for something I've done wrong. And I think subconsciously I like pull from that skill that I have gotten from my crafting life and am able to see things through that analytical lens of seeing what happened and how I can recover from it and maybe things that I can avoid next time. I definitely have a long way to go in that, but it helps. This is also gonna sound silly, but it made me more willing to be seen as kind of foolish and silly. And what I mean by that is that I'm always super paranoid about coming off as like not the smartest person and why are you doing this? Obviously, you can't do that. And seeing that I can do things is a bit of a confidence booster. Like, I've been kind of paranoid to start my Instagram and my TikTok going, not just for Lazy Fox, but I do it for Glomdy, my Twitch handle as well. And I turn it into like kind of my cosplay slash, I don't know, creative outlet type thing. I do like Wreck This Journal and some like game clips. And I wasn't sure how that would go over because in the back of my head somewhere I was like, well, if it doesn't get any attention, then that's not gonna feel great. But I just started doing it anyway, and it felt really good. And even when videos don't get a lot of attention, I like somehow magically can also see it through my lens of why, what do people not like about this? What could I do if I wanted to make another video like this to make it get more attention? Like, people have very short attention spans, and I posted a few videos that took a minute to get to the good part, and people do not like that. People want the good part within 3 seconds of the video. It's crazy, but then I think about my TikTok habits and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I usually know immediately if I'm gonna enjoy a video or not. Like, I'll watch a horse run around a ring, I don't know, 100 times. But if the video starts out and I know it's gonna be a long, rambly thing, I'm gonna skip it. That's what I have podcasts for, right? I started doing a bunch of things like I'm gonna start a newsletter, I'm gonna start a blog. These things, I have actually done some of them before, but I did it in private. When I was like 13, I did have a blog, but my family wasn't allowed to see it. No one in my real life was allowed to see it in case people thought that I couldn't do it or I was doing it poorly, which is actually kind of funny because I did get really positive feedback from the people who did see it, but they were internet people, so it was okay. And now I'm having this whole business where I'm putting myself out there and working on the confidence aspect of it. Even this podcast, like, I've never done a podcast before, and now I'm sitting and talking to myself, and I could feel silly, but I'm just kind of rolling with it. It's been useful to look at the worst case scenario with things like that, because the worst case scenario is that no one listens to it, and that's fine, and I'll just have fun doing it. It teaches patience in a way, because a lot of leather crafting is just repetitive motions and actions, like stamping something like 200 times. You just do it over and over. You have to do it straight because if you mess up, that's going to mess up the whole piece. And it's really useful when I'm feeling overwhelmed to, instead of doing something unhealthy like being on TikTok forever, I can go down and start crafting things. I will either put a podcast on or an audiobook, or I'll watch one of my friends on Twitch, and it just kind of like gets me out of that negative headspace for just a little bit. And sometimes that lasts beyond it, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's a useful thing to have, and it's good to have just at least that feeling like when I can't be making things, I can try to get back into that mindset. I'm really practicing mindfulness as a skill, and it is so hard. I very likely have ADHD. I'm going through testing for it right now. And when I say my brain never shuts off, it never shuts off. Except somehow it does when I'm crafting. So it's like this escape for me, but a healthy escape because I'm learning skills, making something good, and not like being self damaging at all. And the way that I craft is like putting 100% of my focus on that thing and just getting lost in it. But you don't have to do that. You can be watching TV and knitting, and that's as long as it gets you to that place, that's all you need. All of those things are ridiculously valuable to me. It has improved my life, it has gotten me friends, it's made me closer to friends. So, yeah, it's learning from mistakes, building confidence, having patience, being peaceful in the moment. All these things are really good things to learn. And all the while I'm doing something that I can like have and hold in my hand and be proud of. I assume most of the people listening to this are crafters themselves, but if you're not, I highly suggest picking something up that is super easy if you are intimidated by things. Even like coloring in a coloring book, it's so peaceful. If you have your own thing, that's great. Like I don't want to disrespect anything anyone else does, but just something to try if you wanted to do that. If you do craft things, I encourage you to look at your own life and your own skills that you have gotten from crafting. Just a little bit of self-reflection. It might be interesting to see what kind of things you've picked up from it. Are they good things? Are they bad things? Probably good things, because otherwise, why would you be doing it? Although, if they're bad things, then I guess that's good to figure out too, so you can work on that. And let me know anything you're comfortable with. I love to talk to people about crafting. Maybe someone will post a thing that I haven't even thought of before that I also do, which would just be a good moment of reflection for me. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. If you're listening to the podcast, you can go to the YouTube and drop a comment, or you can go to Instagram or TikTok. I'm still working on a Discord. I'm actually recording this before anything is released, so I have yet to get any of your lovely feedback. But depending on the reception of this, I might make a Discord, and it would be for both this and for my Twitch channel, because I know also a lot of people on Twitch who are into making things. I'm gonna have a website up at the point that I release this. I'm actually still working on it at the moment. I'm shooting for lazyfoxcreates.com. I think I could just get that. But in case I can't get that, check the show notes and the website will be there. And you can subscribe to the newsletter there. I'm going to be posting a blog. I'm going to have an episode feed. And I'm going to have links to all of my socials. And I will also include those links in the description in case you want to just go straight there. I also have another podcast called We Fix Games. I have a co-host on that one, and we get very rowdy. On this episode, I am much more chill because I'm by myself, and this is supposed to be a cozy podcast. On that one, things get crazy. So if you want me being crazy with my co-host, go look at that one. We talk about games. We figure out things that could be fixed on them. That's also going to be in the episode description. But you can go to wefixgames.net and find everything we do there. If you have episode topics that you want me to go over, feel free to suggest it. If you have either guest suggestions or if you want a guest, I'm open to that too. You don't have to be a podcaster or anything like that. You just have to have a mic that I can pass off on the podcast, so feel free. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it like I've enjoyed making it. Love you all. Go out and start making stuff.